This is going to be the toughest fight of his career.
Shut up, relax.
The most embarrassing fight of his career.
Chair across your face.
Yeah, I think he's about to cry.
I'm definitely up for fighting. There's a lot of names in the division, for sure. But at the same time, look at what this creates as well. I'm a fighter and I understand that economics of business as well. And this does good business.
Are you really going to do this? Absolutely. Are we going to do this? For a record payday? To go in and spark Jake Paul before we start the serious stuff in 2026? Don't tell me what we should and what we shouldn't be doing.
Anthony Joshua has issued a freezing warning toward Jake Paul, and it's far more serious than simple trash talk. While Paul may see this as the biggest payday of his career, Joshua's team is making it clear just how dangerously uneven this matchup could be. Eddie Hearn, AJ's promoter, told Paul plainly to recognize the real threat, hinting that one clean shot from Joshua could carry catastrophic consequences. At the same time, former fighter Moses Atama didn't soften his message either, cautioning Paul that stepping into a ring with Joshua could involve very real injury risks.
And Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua. Really, in my view, it's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area level fighter, a British area level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glitz of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price
Agree
on
with
the
you.
planet in order to make that fight because it is dangerous.
Jake Paul agreeing to fight Anthony Joshua isn't just a massive gamble. Several experts insist it could be a severe threat to Paul's safety. Boxing voices like Ariel Helwani have warned that Joshua's sheer punching force and elite-level experience could leave Paul exposed to serious harm, pointing to brutal knockouts as a legitimate concern for anyone facing AJ unprepared.
Has been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, if this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury, for crying out loud. You can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect to get a result. So, no doubt's going to disappear. All that's going to happen is going to be the end of fake Paul.
Rising heavyweight Moses also advised Paul to put his long-term health above the money, stressing that one misjudged hit from Joshua could cause damage that doesn't go away. Meanwhile, former champion Amir Khan didn't hesitate to say it outright, claiming Joshua has the ability to hurt Paul in a very serious way.
Joshua sparked him out in like 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when
I don't. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro. You're fighting like one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Like, come on. Like, respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get hurt badly. And this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on there. I mean, AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat stars there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you don't look. You can't be surprised if AJ is going to do the same to what's it called again? Jake Paul.
For Joshua, this matchup isn't simply a payday. He's facing heavy pressure to secure a decisive victory to protect his reputation. Analysts like Johnny Nelson argue that AJ is stuck in a no-win scenario. If he hesitates or lets the fight with Jake Paul go on too long, it may make him seem more like a businessman chasing profit than a truly top-tier boxer.
I do believe it because AJ's involved, and I think AJ'd struggle to. He's going to take enough slack
flack over this, but again, it's money talk. So I think AJ will struggle because it's an Owen situation. If he goes in there and Jake Paul lasted the distance, what does he tell you about AJ? Apart from he's just earned an extra 15 million quid. If he goes there and struggles with Jake Paul, then what do you say about AJ? Your heydays are well and truly over. If he goes in there and knocks him out, then I'll say that's to be expected. So the glory, there's probably not much glory in it, apart from the haters of Jake Paul to say, right, I've got rid of this kid. I think it's very brave of Jake Paul. So now the problem child has got us to believe this fight's actually happening. So now you've got our attention. So now you've got to back up the boast. It's not about, you're not playing tiddlywink. This is the only game you can't play. You can play football, golf, tennis. You can't play boxing.
Nelson has also shared a strong opinion about Jake Paul's standing in the sport. He praises Paul as a clever marketer who built a powerful brand, but rejects the idea that Paul is anywhere near world class. In Nelson's view, Paul is a decent domestic-level fighter whose paydays resemble those of champions, even though he never followed the traditional boxing path. Paul didn't come up through amateur gyms or grind through the rankings. He created fame online first. Nelson believes Paul has turned boxing into a financial machine, but when it comes to elite, high-skill competition, he remains unconvinced that Paul belongs there.
Daniel Dubois, he's going to be 35 years of age. It's crazy what I'm about to ask you, but can Jake Paul really beat Anthony Joshua?
All right, listen, I give all credit. Everyone knows that. They get mad at me that I give too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea. He put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that. Coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way. He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need to be a top guy. But he has improved. He is a work in progress. He is a guy that you got to give him credit that he's respected the sport. He went out there, he's worked hard at it.
Former champion Carl Froch agrees with that sentiment, arguing that fighting Jake Paul could smear Joshua's reputation and make him appear off track from true Hall of Fame greatness. At the same time, Joshua has publicly emphasized how much he values his long-term well-being, saying his legacy would ultimately be that he walked away from the sport healthy.
Bunsen burner's lit, like I've said. He's cashing out. And fair play to him, he's cashing out. But to what detriment to his legacy? A lot, really, because if this is going to be his last fight, fighting this clown show, I mean, it's not ideal, is it? It's no ideal way to go out, but people would argue, well, he's just taking the money and running. So you can't really argue with that. So that's it for another episode of Froch on Fighting. I had to get my opinion out there because I know you've all been waiting for it. It's a shame, really. I'd like to see Anthony Joshua, actually, even though I don't believe he can do it. But when Eddie Hearn tells us that AJ is going to become a 3-time world champ, it'd be nice to see the rebuilding process and get back behind him. 1 or 2 easy fights and then go for a world title. And this could be one of the 2 easy fights. But I just think if you're going to jump in with fake Paul at this level, which is like I say, arguably a massive mismatch, it's no way to step towards or climb a ladder to get towards that world title. So this, for me, tells me that Anthony Joshua knows he's finished at any sort of elite level or world level. He won't be trying to go down the world title level anymore. This is just a cash out. So good luck to him. Fair play to him, but hopefully when he's finished this fight, he'll be honest with us and say, listen, I've milked it, I've creamed it, I've had an unbelievable touch at the end of my career. I mean, he's already had an outrageous touch, hasn't he, with the involvement of Saudi Arabia, and now he's just creaming it at the end. He's got fake Paul, which is massive. Great for AJ, fair play to him. Anybody would do the same at the end of the career he's had. You know, He's not an elite heavyweight, is he? He's never going to come back and become a world champion again. In my
Jake Paul, however, insists he can beat Anthony Joshua, claiming he sees glaring weaknesses in AJ's recent performances. On his podcast, Paul openly criticized Joshua, saying he has no chin, lacks technical skill, and looks stiff in the ring. He believes Joshua's recent knockout defeat to Daniel Dubois highlighted a drop in durability, making now the ideal moment to challenge him. Paul argues that his unorthodox movement, confidence, and momentum give him a legitimate chance despite the massive risk many believe he's taking.
Why is Jake Paul doing this? Well, I think it's because he genuinely believes there is a chance he can win this. I think he's calculated everything about Anthony Joshua's circumstances and he's gone, yeah, I actually think I can do this. I can leapfrog so many years of having to build and go through the ranks and do all that stuff by beating a shop-worn Anthony Joshua. And what are the factors in Jake Paul believing this? Well, it would be firstly that AJ received a loss in his most recent fight. Anthony Joshua's not been in the ring since September 2024, so over a year by the time him and Jake Paul get in the ring together. It will have been around 15 months. It was the manner of Joshua's loss where he looked terrible. He looked like a fighter that was well past his best. His timing wasn't there. He even looked a little bit chinny, dare I say. I mean, I still think he's got a good chin. The shot he took from Dubois was absolutely massive and would have knocked down many heavyweights. And he showed decent powers of recovery to get up and struggle through for as long as he did before his over-aggression and miscalculation with the type of shots he was using got him knocked out by Dubois. But if you're deluded enough like Jake Paul, then perhaps you look at that and go, he landed a massive right hand on Joshua's chin. Why can't I do the same? I believe myself to be a very big puncher. And it's that old saying, isn't it? You know, you shoot for the stars, you might at least land on the moon. And I think that's kind of why Jake Paul's maybe got to where he is in life, because he does have too much self-confidence. He does believe in himself. Well, on this occasion, I believe to a fault.
Paul says this fight is his chance to silence every critic who has ever said he only targets smaller or older opponents. He claims that by facing Anthony Joshua, a genuine heavyweight and former world champion, he's finally proving he's willing to test himself at the highest level. According to Paul, once he beats Joshua, all doubts vanish. No one can deny me, he says.
They said, fight a real boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight.
Teddy Atlas has offered a cautiously intrigued perspective on the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul matchup. While he warns it could be a step far beyond Paul's capabilities due to the enormous gap in skill and experience, he doesn't completely write off the fight. Atlas points to Joshua's recent knockout loss and extended inactivity, suggesting there may still be unresolved issues affecting AJ. Even though he fully acknowledges that Joshua is the stronger, more polished puncher, Atlas remains curious to see which version of Joshua shows up on fight night.
Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some ghost in his attic. There are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's gotten rid of some of them, but I know that in the position of a fighter coming where he's coming from, there are ghosts in your attic. I don't know if those ghosts are still taking up space. I don't know if maybe there could be no better exorcism for those ghosts than fighting a Jake Paul. That might be just the exorcism you need to clear out the attic. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. That's the mystery part of this. That's what makes it so, it makes it two things at once. Intriguing and in some ways infuriating.
Atlas also believes that Jake Paul will never reach elite-tier status in boxing, despite respecting Paul's effort and business approach. He describes Paul as someone still developing, and while he appreciates that Paul hasn't disrespected the sport and is actually committed to training, Atlas doesn't see him evolving into a true world-class fighter. In his view, Paul has carved out a clever promotional niche for himself, but when it comes to taking on the best in the sport, Atlas maintains that Paul simply can't step in and beat anyone he wants.
that does it for this week's recaps and previews. I want to throw one more thing at you, and that's the news. It's been out there for about a month or so, and it's picking up more steam. Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. Now, Eddie Hearn came out this week most recently and said, I never thought I would say this, but right now the front runner for this fight is Jake Paul for Anthony Joshua's ring return. Joshua coming up almost on a year in September since his KO loss to Daniel Dubois. He's going to be 35 years of age. It's crazy what I'm about to ask you, but can Jake Paul really beat Anthony Joshua?
All right, listen, I give all credit. Everyone knows that. They get mad at me that I give too much credit to Paul. Why? He's done a hell of a job to put himself in this position. He sold himself. He sold his dream. He took his dream. He took his idea. He put it out there, and he made it happen. Give him credit for that. And he made it happen. And he took risk along the way. Yeah, he picked his spots. He's in the driver's seat. He gets to pick his spots. He's the one bringing the money. He's the one promoting. Yeah, he's the name. He made himself that, coming from where he came from, with all his followers and the whole thing, and just the uniqueness of what he was doing. But he has learned along the way. He's not a top guy yet. No, I don't know that he ever will be. He didn't have that amateur background and the things that you usually need to be a top guy. But he has improved. He is a work in progress. He is a guy that you got to give him credit that he's respected the sport. He went out there, he's worked hard at it.
Boxing commentator Aid Oladipo has made his stance clear. If Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua actually meet in the ring, he expects Joshua to finish things quickly. In a recent interview, Oladipo said Paul's confidence doesn't match the reality of facing a former heavyweight champion. He even claimed AJ could knock out Paul in under 30 seconds. Although he gives Paul some respect for having the nerve to call out a far larger opponent, Oladipo still leans heavily toward Joshua's power and experience to take over the fight immediately. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has dropped a massive number, saying the potential matchup with Joshua could reach nearly $267 million. While reports suggest both fighters might walk away with around $92 million each, Paul's own statement has sparked talk that the total revenue, including pay-per-view, streaming, and other deals, could be even bigger. If true, it would make their showdown not only a major sporting event but also one of the richest bouts in boxing history.
AJ versus Jake Paul. Jab.
AJ.
Defense.
AJ.
Chin.
AJ.
Footwork.
AJ.
Boxing IQ.
AJ.
Personality.
Ooh. Jake Paul.
If Jake Paul gets dominated by Anthony Joshua, it could seriously damage his ability to draw big audiences. Right now, Paul is one of the few crossover names who can reliably deliver huge pay-per-view sales because of his massive social media following. But a devastating loss to a legitimate heavyweight like AJ would give critics everything they need. They'll argue he isn't durable, isn't elite, and can't compete with real top-level professionals. Even his star-powered appeal could weaken. Casual viewers might stop watching if they start believing he is still just a YouTuber trying to box. Promoter Eddie Hearn has even warned that such a defeat could destroy Paul's entire boxing brand. In conclusion, the anticipated clash between Paul and Joshua is much more than a simple spectacle. It's a risky gamble on every side. Paul views it as the fight that could finally prove he belongs in true boxing. But many think he is stepping into danger against a heavyweight of Joshua's stature. Critics highlight serious health concerns for Paul because of the huge gap in power, experience, and size. For Joshua, the motivation appears mostly financial. Promoters say this could be his biggest payday ever. But even he risks harming his reputation with any mistake. While the fight promises massive attention and enormous money, many in the sport see it as a risky event driven more by business than genuine competition.
Really take Jake Paul that serious. He can't really box. He can have a little fight, he can have a swing. He swings away, stands up straight, and he throws punches, but it's not professional boxing. Because when I watch him box, he does so much wrong. It's just everything's wrong. It's so bad. He's got leaky defence. He telegraphs his punches. Like, you put him in with someone his own size, it was a professional, and it's a mismatch. And you'll see that if he ends up fighting somebody. Tommy Fury, bless him, He's a pro boxer, but he's inexperienced. He's got no amateur pedigree. He's a raw novice, or maybe just above the raw novice. I was saying earlier, where would I put him in terms of levels? He'd do well to win a British title. He's at that sort of level. And then from British title to world level, it's like different worlds. It's like totally different.
What do you think? Is Jake Paul risking everything by challenging Anthony Joshua?